Hey, everybody. Hey, hey, hey. Let me get this. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. How y'all doing this Monday evening? All right. How y'all doing this evening? How y'all doing this evening? Shanna, you can go ahead and unmute so I can hear your responses. I hope y'all are doing well this evening. It's the first day of the work week. The weekend went by so quickly. No, it just does not make any sense how fast time rolls on when you're having fun. Had a very long weekend. As many of you know, I helped celebrate one of my best friends and baby's daddy's 50th birthday party. Yes, we went all in this weekend and we had a good time. I think he had a good time. With his family was here, our friends was here, and it was good. It was good because he won't about to do nothing. I'm like, no, bro, we go. You 50. That's a milestone. That's a large number, but it's that's a good thing. So I mean, prior to that, it was like we won't thinking he was gonna see it. So he's here. Thank you, Jesus. He's here, and of course, I'm all about celebrating milestones and having fun and doing all that kind of stuff. And so that's exactly what we helped him do. And so he's 50 years young. Um, if you want to say 50 is young, I think 50 is young. And I ain't too far from it, so I might as well act like I know. But that's what I did this weekend. I'm still trying to recover, but we still got to get through this tea. So tonight, y'all know I've been posting about the retired NBA player, Mr. Jumaine Jones. Honey, he will be here shortly, but parenting first. He just sent me a message saying that he's at his daughter's senior volleyball game, and this is the last game of the year. So it's the last set, and so hey, parenting first. But of course, I'm always prepared. I always got some backups up my sleeve, and even if not, I'll just talk you to death about what I know. But tonight we're going to be talking about, of course, mental and emotional health, and we're going to talk about addressing mental and emotional health, particularly as it relates to people of color, because it's important, and I'm excited that we have a black male, at that who will be helping us discuss this topic. And so, of course, I have questions. If you have questions, y'all need to let me know. If any of you would like to ask him the questions yourself, please make sure you text. So, Shayna, you driving, so you can't even help me look to see, make sure I don't miss questions. But we're going to do our best. So, post them in. I'm looking at the live stream from Start Speaking Stop Stigma group. So if you have questions in there, I'm gonna try to go back and forth through the other pages. But y'all, please don't get upset with me. But if you want to speak to him live yourself, let me know. I'll send you the link to the StreamYard so we can bring you on. You don't necessarily have to bring your face. I'm just saying, but you do have to um, turn your mic on so we can hear you, so you can speak with him. But I'm not sure how long the set will be, but we're going to keep it moving, and we're going to bring him on as soon as he's readily available and when his baby girl's game is over. I commend him, honey, because parenting first. I love it. That just excites me and warms my heart. He had his baby game. Lord have mercy. Y'all know I'm a daddy's girl. So anyway, yes, Shayla is with me. But as you can see, you know what? You being on the road while we doing these lives, ma'am. We want to see the doc's face.
get my baby settled for picture day. He made a
Ooh,
request for clothes for picture day, so ma'am,
not
I
a
had to get my
request
baby.
for clothes.
Yes,
Okay, okay, little
picture day,
man.
Wednesday. I had to get that taken care of. So yes,
Oh,
parenting first. I did not plan to be driving, but
parenting first. I got you. I got you. Well, this week my babies are back with me, so they're getting ready for bed and preparing for tomorrow. Tay Tay might, y'all, excuse me, she might peep her big old head around here just to see what's going on because that's what she normally does. But yes, I understand parenting first. So if you see interruption, it's because of that. But I certainly do understand. But again, we're going to be talking about, we're going to be addressing mental and emotional health in the community of color. Um, don't feel like we're excluding anybody. We're not. We're just talking about it as it relates to our experience because of somewhat lack of support and lack of access to care and the stigma and the myths behind it. We just kind of want to have some discussions about how we should address and what it looks like in the Black community. So we're going to be talking about that, and I'm glad, like I said earlier, that we will be having Mr. Jumaine Jones. I'm just, you know what, God is a wonderful. He's a wonderful entity. I swear, he just makes a way. I'm like, I kept saying, we need men. I want to have a male on to discuss mental and emotional health, and the publicist, yeah, y'all. I actually got a publicist. She helping her sister. So she's helping me connect too with people who I wouldn't otherwise have connections to. So I appreciate Jennifer Champagne. Thank you, my girl. Thank you so very much. Shout out to Jennifer Champagne, who's been giving me a lot of opportunities and exposing me to a lot of things and people I appreciate you. And as I get exposed, I'm exposing whoever want to be exposed. Shayna, I saw your post from the other day. I appreciate you. I do it because this mental health thing just ain't about me. Um, it's not about looking good or anything. What it is about is healing and feeling good. And I don't want to be the only one healing and feeling good. So whoever I can get to help me on this fight and on this journey, and you want to go, and you got the same vision and mindset as I have, let's get it. Let's get her done. So that's what this whole thing is
I was.
about. So anybody who wants to say that again,
We may have some more connections after the retreat.
well, all
It
right.
was a very nice retreat, and I actually talked about our mental health Mondays, and some folks may be asking for us to be on a podcast, so I'll keep you posted.
Cool. Cool. Thank you. Cool. That's excellent. But I found this TED Talk video with a black female therapist, which is actually wonderful. And I'm gonna play it because it's gonna actually be what we'll be discussing, um, Shayna and I, with Mr. Jones. And I'm gonna play it, and I want y'all to watch it. I want y'all to come up with your questions. I want you to see if any of these things that this young lady says you've heard in your family. Are you still hearing in your family? Are you still experiencing some of these things? So just give me a moment. I'm going to go ahead and connect the video, and I'm going to pause. I'm going to mute my mic so that you guys can hear and not hear the whole background and echo. So here we go. All right, welcome back, y'all. Listen, my man is here, and I'm trying not to act like a plumb idiot, but I'm sorry. Listen, I'm about to, Shayna, you here, baby? I'm about to, listen, okay? I'm sorry. I know it. Whew, let me gather myself because I feel honored and privileged to even have this opportunity to even be able to have you on my lap And he done took the time to come talk to us, even though he had to do something with his baby. I'm excited. I'm just, I don't know, Shannon, do you? I know you driving, honey, but you got to feel some kind of way. If you feel anything like I feel, can I get a? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Mr. Jones.
I'm very
You
excited.
might have
I'm
to
very
unmute
excited.
yourself.
Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Oh,
Oh, yep.
wait,
There
wait,
we
wait,
go.
wait, wait. Hush your face, Shannon. Hush your face. Say it again, brother. Say it again.
Can you hear me?
Woo! I can hear. Oh, yes, I can. I can hear you. Yes, Gary White, I can hear you. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm just coming. Sorry, I came on a little late. My daughter's last home game was today, and it extended a little longer than we expected it to
That's
today.
because they over there whooping the hind part, and they want to make it a little longer. We gonna whoop their butts a little bit longer. Yes, we are. Put a shirt on, son. You are not coming over here. My son ran out the door. Mama, he ain't but 12. But he don't know nothing about basketball no more than I know. But
Right.
listen, thank you so much for taking the time to come and talk to us about how we can address mental and emotional health in our community. And like Shayna is with us, she's a clinician, and we've been doing Mental Tea Monday for a while. We've been doing emotional support groups for a while. And this thing that we're doing is like a passion of ours. And, I deal with my own mental and emotional health issues. I talk about I use myself as I'm the most transparent person that you'll probably ever meet. I probably tell stuff that I probably shouldn't tell, but it's okay because if it helps one person open up to start their journey to healing, then hey, we doing our job, and that's why we're here. But I'm more excited about having a Black male come and talk to us just about your experiences with mental and emotional health. I looked at a video, just a quick clip earlier, just kind of trying to feel some energy from how you might, operate during an interview. I'm like, oh, this cat right here. Okay, I ain't even got to put my eyebrows on for this one. This gonna be I ain't got to put no eyebrows on. I ain't got to put on no. We just gonna do the darn thing tonight. That's what we gonna do. So just kind of, you can, go ahead and introduce yourself. Hold on, son. Introduce yourself and just tell us who you are and talk about your experiences, and then we'll come and we'll ask you more questions.
Okay. Well, I'm Jumaine Jones. I played 16 years professional basketball, 8 years in the NBA. Played 8 years over in Europe, and you know, even all the way up to date, I still would deal with a lot of mental health issues that I actually seek help for still. I overcame a lot of things from, a lot of traumas. I witnessed a murder when I was younger at
Wow.
13 years old, a lot of things that I experienced at a very young age that I didn't really understand that, how much it affected me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was just a lot that was going on, with me that I couldn't understand myself. I didn't know, what was going on at the time with me, why I was feeling a certain way about certain things, and until I started seeking help, going to counseling. Um, that's when I found out a lot of things and actually having conversations. I felt a lot more comfortable once I started seeking help. Um, going to counseling, figuring out the reason why I was away about certain things, why I would, so angry at a lot of things that, I just couldn't understand. And, going to counseling really shaped a whole lot of things for me, kind of found out a lot of things for myself. Um, once you know the problem, man, it's kind of easy to fix it. If you don't know the problem, and that's a problem in our Black communities, I know a lot of people are against counseling, but that's probably one of the things that saved my life, to be able to find out the reasons and find out the core issues that I had going on in my life that actually started from when I was a kid. So, and I didn't start going to counseling until this was three years ago when I first started
Mm.
counseling. So and I'm 42 years old at this point. So think about all the things that I've been going through, and being a professional athlete, all that did was, basketball was just like a coping skill for me. That was
Mm-hmm.
just something I used. So then, once basketball wasn't there, then that's when the whole lot really hit me. A lot of hit me hard because now I didn't have basketball to fall back on, to really go out and take everything, all the pressures off of me. And, that was my
Mm-hmm.
safe space, was the sport. So, after that, that's when I really had to really dig in and try to figure out who I was. And, going to counseling really helped that for me. And, now, after getting the help that I needed, I'm very, just like you talked about, I'm very, very transparent about everything that actually, I'm an open book. I'm open to talk about anything because
Mm-hmm.
I understand with me opening up, especially having the platform that I have, people need to hear. And, once people hear it, then they'll feel more comfortable to actually have those conversations. And once you're open to have those conversations, that's when the healing starts. So for me, you know, what I do now, all I do is just go out and have these conversations. I have galas, I go speak at speaking engagements. I do a lot just to be able to get out and reach out to people just so they can feel comfortable. Because if they can look at me as being a professional athlete, because a lot of people think just because you make a lot of money, everything
Mm-hmm.
that solves everything. So to hear somebody like me that's been in the situation I've been in, and being at a high level and still having to go get help really can let everybody else feel more comfortable. Like, okay, well, this guy, he has all of this and that, and he's still going through it. Well, why can't I go get that help?
Right. And it's. I'm glad that you said all that, because a lot of times people feel like, just because you have things, just because you have money, just because you have the latest and the greatest of whatever, that's gonna resolve any mental and emotional issues that you have. But that having those things or having money is not going to resolve the issue. If anything, it may cause more problems. The problem that I see is that a lot of times it's like you said, it took you, basketball was your coping mechanism. But what happens when that luckily, it just sounds like it was just basketball. But for people who use other things like drugs and alcohol, or whatever, that they overeat, because listen, I'm gonna just tell you the truth. I'm an emotional eater. I eat when I'm happy, mad, pissed off, glad, surprised, whatever excuse it is. I, I'm an emotional eater, but I recognize that thing, and I can combat it and work through it if that comes about. And that's just one example. But people use other things to cope with things that they don't want to actually face. Like, when you don't have those things like basketball, at some point you're going to have to face and address those issues from childhood. You're going to have to face and address those traumas from whatever section of your life. You can't continue to ignore those things and think you're going to live a productive and satisfying life. You're just not going to do it. It's to me, it's like it's almost impossible to ignore those things and think that at some point they're not going to come back to bite you, because as in the video that I just showed, that's just validating what I always say, that your mental and emotional health is like the key to everything else being healthy. Like, it is connected to everything about who you are, your physical health as well. So if you're not addressing your mental and emotional health issues, you're suppressing all that negative energy and all those negative things, and you're not resolving those things. Guess what you're doing? You're killing yourself slowly. Slowly, you're killing yourself. Shannon, I know you're quiet. I know you're driving. Do you have anything you want to add?
I was actually waiting for you to stop talking, but you know how that goes.
Whatever.
Um, what I wanted to know from the clinician perspective is, when you decided to go to therapy, what were your expectations?
I really didn't have any expectations at all, going in. I was really nervous about going in because I had never went to seek help before. Um, it was just more on something, me just trying it out just to see how it is. And just going that first time, it was more on like I wanted to go more than once a week at that point because I was able to open up. I was, in tears and almost every meeting I went to, I was almost in tears every single time. Sometimes I shed a lot of tears and I felt good about it. I felt at ease. A lot of things that I was going through at the time, it made me feel better about everything because I was actually being able to have a conversation and talk to someone about everything that I've been through throughout my life and seeing the reason why things was at a whole because you know it wasn't just me, playing basketball because, I did go into a point where I was drinking every single day and smoking weed every
Mm,
single day because I didn't want to face the fact that basketball was over for me. I didn't want to, I knew I had to find something else to do, but I wasn't really to face the fact that I had to. So every single day I'm drinking and smoking every day. Before I know it, it's 3 years passed me by. And
mm-hmm,
I'm sitting there. The only thing that really saved me from that was when the NBA had a transitioning program. I didn't have a purpose. I feel like I didn't have a purpose at life at that point.
mm,
Once basketball ended for me. So now I'm trying to, I let basketball really identify who I was. So when it was no longer there, I had to try to find out who I was. And counseling was pretty much something that I just went to go try out because I had to do something. After 3 years, went to the transitioning program in New York for 3 months and found something that, I talked to a guy by the name of Vin Baker. And he really shed a whole lot of light. He really shed a whole lot of light into stuff that I had going on. He told me, and it still sticks to me to this day. And I asked him, I say, man, what happened with you when you had to retire? Like, how was it? He say, man, it was hard for me. And he say the reason why it was so hard is because it was hard for me to find certain things. And I was like, well, what did you do? And he was like, well, the thing that we had to do to make the NBA, Jumaine, is still in us. He said, you
mm.
knew what that took, right? And I say, absolutely, I knew what it took. How could I forget, what it took for me to make the NBA? He said, it's still in us. We just got to find something else to put it in.
You gotta
And
redirect
from that
it.
day forward, it gave me something, a different light and a different way to look at things. And from that point, man, going into the meetings at the NBA offices and figuring out the business side of basketball. And then I found another passion about reaching out to kids and giving them, a lot of things that I went through where I can make things better for them. And then, from that point, I got a job with the 76ers youth program. And from there, it was head up. And then, you know all the things that I was going through at that time. I was more open to talk about it after going to counseling and because every time the more I talk about it, the more it's healing for me. And I'm
Mm,
still going to counseling now today, and people think it's over, but it's still an everyday fight for me to every day to try to get better and going to
yep.
counseling still and going out here and having those conversations with people out in the community to let them know it's okay to go get the help that you need.
And I'm glad you said that because healing is a continuous process, and it's funny that you mentioned it because I don't know if you can read my shirt. Healing is healing in progress. It's a continuous thing. It doesn't stop. Unfortunately, once you realize your triggers, you'll understand what has been happening throughout your life. Like I understand what makes me angry. I understand what makes me sad. I understand what makes me happy. I understand my triggers, and I can, if I'm being triggered, I know how to work through them rather than react. I can respond to them accordingly. And a lot of times we don't do that. Would you say that throughout your career you've seen some instances where you might have responded or reacted inappropriately that might have had something to do with your mental and emotional situations?
Yeah, that's happened quite a few times. And those conversations I had, even a lot of things that I've done, you know, throughout my career, I question like that was stupid. Like, why would I even do that? And I didn't have the answers. I didn't even have the answers myself. But you know, I tell you, going to counseling really answered a whole lot of questions for me. Why I was a certain way, why I felt a certain way about certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Why I didn't care about this part of my life, why I didn't care about that, and it all related back to things that I had dealt with throughout my childhood. So to be able to go and get answers to things that I had no clue that was an issue was probably the biggest part of and the first part of me healing.
Hmm. That's good. I want to ask you a question about, because in the recent the past few months, there have been, athletes who have come forward saying they, like Simone Biles for one, the Olympic, the man, she's a bad mama jamma, but she withdrew from the Olympic Games, and then there was Naomi Osaka who withdrew from Wimbledon because they decided, listen, there's not any more I can take. I need a reprieve. And because of mental and emotional health issues, they decided to back away. And at first, it seemed like they were getting a lot of backlash for it, until people started coming forward, like supporting them for the decisions that they made. What is your response to the decision that they made as athletes, because they're well known? People say, well, they have a job to do. We all have a job to do. I work a regular job. I work for the VA, but every now and then I take a mental health day because I need it, because I can't be productive if I'm dealing with my own mental and emotional health challenges. What good am I to my nation's veterans if I'm all jacked up? How do you feel about the decision that they made to pull away from their job?
Well, I think it's probably one of the best decisions in the world and made by you know, look how high profile they are.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to come from athletes at that high level,
Right.
really gets other athletes very happy about it because a lot of people don't have those discussions about it. For me, a lot of times, the pressure of just being able to having to go out there every single night. Like people don't understand there's only 450 NBA players in the NBA every year. That's it in the world. I was just looking at some numbers where it was 20 million youth basketball players. Then it was like 550 something thousand high school players.
Ah.
Then it became to be where it was like 25,000 college players. And then it comes to the NBA where it's only 450 players in the world. So think about, coming from the youth and it gets smaller every single time and you keep having these pressures all the time, just constantly. You have these pressures to
Mm-hmm.
be the best, to be Superman,
Mm-hmm.
to be that. Like it's a lot of times you might not feel like being that. Sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
might not want to have that pressure. And yes, people do get paid a lot of money to be able to do the job that they're doing. But like you said, I mean, I think everybody in the world actually needs a mental health day because it's a lot of pressures when it comes to being in the NBA or being at a high level. Because the whole world's expecting so much out of you, and they get that backlash is because people enjoy so much. You're in something that's called entertainment, and people want to see you so much. They're so hungry to see you, and they love to see you perform that they forget about that you're human.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? They forget about that you're human. So, for us as athletes, and we really want to be looked at as human. And a lot of times we don't because people really enjoy what we do.
And I mean, I get the enjoyment of the game. I mean the high profile people say, well, you make a lot of money, you shouldn't have to have mental health days. But money does not define my health. It can help me be healthy, having access, having that resource, but it
But
doesn't
wait,
define me. Go ahead.
but wait. There are people every day that say this one phrase that means that they need a mental health day. I ain't coming here to work. Why can't the athletes say the same thing?
Ha.
Or we've seen TikTok videos where somebody be like, and I don't know if you guys have seen this one where somebody says, "Oh my gosh, I gotta go into this job for eight blah blah
Yes.
blah hours and blah blah blah
Yes.
da 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 da." So it's
Right.
like, you know, even for me as a clinician, I tell my patients all the time, look, there's some days where you just need a mental health day. There's some day where you need to say, I'm choosing myself and not
Mm-hmm.
everybody else. And athletes, because of that fact that they have to go in like that every single game, every single, like being critiqued literally as they're playing the game, or as they're doing the gymnastics, or as they're performing in the Olympics. I mean, it's the worst type of backlash that you can even have. Like, I mean, we've even seen with the track star, she can't even grieve right.
Well,
It's like
well, I think
on that track.
the real big issue is that they don't understand what we really go through off the basketball court, because now that we do have this money, because I tell people all the time that the worst thing ever happened to me was getting drafted.
What? Ooh,
Yeah, because
ooh.
it gives you.
That
Explain.
that was the worst thing ever happened to me, because I'm humble. I know who I am as a person,
Yeah.
and to get all the pressures, I got 16 aunties and uncles. I got a million first cousins. Think about how many people want you to be the answer to their problems at that point.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Please,
Nobody looks at that. Nobody
Yep.
speak
knows how
on it,
much
sir.
family. Nobody understands the fact that how many people are coming at you to try to get what you worked hard to get. People that's very, very close to you that you've grown up, and then you
Who
say
feel
yes,
entitled.
you
Right.
say yes 1,000 times, and then the one time you say no, you get the backlash.
Yep.
and
Speak
and,
on it,
and it
sir.
came to a time where I was trying to save my entire family. I came to a point where after my fourth year in the NBA, I didn't have no money because my heart was so pure and I wanted to make
Oh,
everybody happy. When I got
glory.
drafted, I didn't even buy myself anything because it made my family more happy to be able to receive those gifts. So that's what I did. So once I came to a point where I didn't have anything, then it was more on me looking at things like, okay, I got to say no. And I had to learn to say no. So once I got to a point where I learned to say no, now I'm losing family members that I really cared about a lot. Now think about you losing somebody so close to you that looked up to you, that you looked up to and admired for so long, and then they're not want to be a part of your life because you told them no to giving them money. Think about
Mm-hmm.
how that feels to you, but then you still got to go out on the court and perform at a high level when you sitting there thinking like, man, I just
Yeah.
lost my favorite auntie because I told her no.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Mm-hmm.
think about that. But nobody's thinking about the stuff that you're going through off the court with family and everybody else when you still got to go out and perform. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
cares about what you got going on off the court. They just want to see you entertain them. They
Right.
don't care about what's going on behind closed doors. There's a lot of athletes that's facing a whole lot of things that people don't even understand, because with more money, you're gonna get way more problems, and everybody want their answers to be what you have.
Right. And this is, we talk about, having boundaries, and protecting your mental and emotional space. Me and Shane will tell you, honey, my scissor game is sharp. I have cut my mama off. I have cut daddy off. Me and my brother just really started kind of communicating again, because I came to a point, and hey, I work a 9 to 5. So I can only imagine on your level what it could have been like. And I'm just trying to protect my mental and emotional space. So my scissor game is sharp. It's so sharp. It's like when you cut that Christmas wrapping paper, you have the scissors like this. You ain't even got to do this. All you got to do is go like this, and it cuts it. Yeah, that's what I have no problems doing it. But that's what I know now, and I think it's important that this is why we have to have these conversations about mental and emotional health, about setting boundaries. No is a complete sentence. You are not everybody's superhero. You went and you got drafted, not them. You went and you earned them dollars, not them. When people feel entitled to your stuff, that's a red flag of unhealthy, and that's what I like to say. There's a pathology of dysfunction, because you think you are entitled to somebody else's stuff, but you don't have to go do nothing for it. And then when somebody says no to you, you have what my daddy used to say, the mediated gall to get mad.
The
My daddy would say,
audacity.
you sound like somebody with a paper sack asshole. You better go on somewhere now with your little ugly self.
Oh, you forgot to tell him we raw and uncut, right?
I'm sorry, because I did. Yeah, at first I was trying to keep it clean, but his energy is so high. He
No,
vibrates so high. I
but you
feel
know
him.
what? It also goes back to what we all talked about before, Nikki, when we talked about the on the podcast where what happens in this house stays in this house, generational patterns. Like
Yep.
it's like, ooh, we didn't have it, so now that he has it, you can't forget where you came from, and you got to bring us with you. And it's like,
Right.
ooh, why you ain't try to do something different?
Right. Why you didn't try to do something different?
Like why you need my money to do something different?
Right.
Everybody got the same 24 hours in the day.
Right.
And there you
Exactly.
go.
Exactly.
And
Well,
I think that is also something that that's very very important too, because it's just like you said, you can get drafted, but then it's like everybody got drafted. Feels like they got drafted along with you, and it's like
right.
no, I chose to be different. I broke the generational pattern.
For me
Please and thank
and
you.
my
Have some
offspring.
receipts.
Well, the thing that goes along with that, man, a lot of things I had to learn. So think about the learning process that I had to go through
And
to
that's
get
the
to
other
that
part.
level. You know what I mean? To say
That's
no.
the other
You know
part.
what I mean? Like that wasn't an easy process. To go in and be like, no, I can't do this and I can't do that. And it took me to be having no money after 4 years and sitting there thinking like, okay, now I got kids, I got a family now. Like, and the first thing they tell you is that you've changed.
Right.
Like, well, I'm the same person that I've always been. Like, y'all have never asked me for money before, so who's changed?
Right. And that's a good segue into what kind of my question would be to what kind of response are you receiving from family and friends alike now that you're going through this healing process and you're doing some setting boundaries, understanding your triggers, and saying no. Versus, I know you said now you're experiencing having to do the whole. Well, people are cutting themselves off, so you ain't even doing the cutting off. Sounds like it, but some you might have to go and cut some folk off. Just letting you know, you're gonna
Well,
have to sharpen up the scissors.
well, I've gotten so good at saying no and cutting people off now. All I do, all I do is just give them the gun. Now they gonna kill themselves.
Look. If you get
I
cut off,
clearly didn't
it's a
choke
dream. Say that again. I thought she was
all my
saying.
milkshake across the steering wheel.
Oh, see, uh-huh. But here's another question I have because it was a podcast, and Lord knows I don't ask me to remember the name of, but it was one you did recently. You talked about some things that you're doing for your healing, like staying away from the news. Like, talk about some of the other things that you're doing to promote your own healing.
Well, I'm actually I'm in process of writing a book right now. I'm having a gala in December 10th. I'm gonna have a gala, a mental health gala, which is honoring mental health awareness in athletes and entertainers. Where I got quite a few ex athletes
Mm-hmm.
and entertainers that's going to be coming in and really speaking about, the traumas they experience, the mental health issues they experience, and how they dealt with them. So I've been writing this book. I'm supposed to be editing. Well, I actually edited everything already. I just got to finish my testimonial.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually supposed to start that tomorrow, but that's been a healing process for me. Just
Mm-hmm.
writing and actually having conversations, about what we're doing now. Like
Mm-hmm.
I like to get up and have conversations about mental health because that's healing. And people don't understand. The more you talk about it, you know, the more you're gonna feel free and be able to get those things out. And people's like, man, you seem like you really enjoy it. I say because it's therapeutic.
Yes.
it's very therapeutic to sit and have these conversations, and it's been so good to me to write my book and be able to
Mhm.
actually get other people to, I'm excited for it to be coming out. So I supposed to present it at my gala December 10th.
I
So
was gonna say, when is it coming out? What's the
it
day? Come
should
on
it
now,
should
quit holding back.
it should be ready by December 10th. I told my ghostwriter that, listen, this is what the date I need to have it in,
Hmm.
so I can present it here, and I'm so excited about getting it out because it's a lot of stuff in there that a lot of people don't even know about me. And he wanted me to do a biography, and I was like, man, I really don't want to do a biography. And he was like, well, what are you thinking? I was like, well, I just think that I want to do like a self-help book. I want to talk about the certain things that I've been through and the things that I did to try to get over it and the things that I'm continue doing now. So I want to talk about everything that I went through, the traumas, everything, and then talk
Hmm.
about the process that I went through to try to be better. I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about, like, hey, and I'm still not where I want to be, and I'm still going to counseling right now today
Ain't
every
nothing
week.
wrong with laying across the couch, honey. I get my tune up all the time. I love gets me a mental health tune up. I make sure, ma'am, sir, make sure your couch is light and fluffy for me to lay across. Okay, I'm coming to talk. I got to get it out now. Shoot,
Come
time to
on.
purge.
Come on.
Look at, come on. She's about come on. So yeah, it's once you are able to get that out and you start to feel, like I like to say, light and fluffy, it's like you start to find this sense of peace. And I am so serious about my mental and emotional space and keeping and retaining my peace. I refuse. I tell my children right quick, you go to your daddy house before I relinquish my peace of mind. I'm not gonna do it.
Hey, man, I
I'm
tell
not
people
doing
that
it.
same thing all the time. I say, man, to let y'all know something, man, my peace mean more to me than anything else. And if
You
I
can't
can't
buy
have
it.
that,
There's no amount of money that can buy your peace.
I don't
Not
want you
no amount.
around me if you disturbing it.
Right. You got to get it. Either you got to go or I got to go. What? Make a choice, I'll make it for us. We're gonna do it because I'm not about to. I'm not about to have my space and my energy negative because it takes. I got to work on me every day. I wake up. I have to take stock of how I am. I have to take stock of my attitude. I have to take stock of how I'm fit. I have to take stock of all of that and have to deal with somebody else's mess too. No, dog, we're not doing that. I ain't got time.
Uh,
Especially when you
who,
choose to be that way
who
and you
got
ain't trying
time?
to get it
Right.
out. Got time for that. Go on somewhere now with your little ugly self, is what I say. Go on somewhere now. Listen, I know your baby girl is waiting on. I assume they won the game. They won
Yeah, they did pretty
the game.
good. They won in 3 sets, so it was pretty intense. And she's happy.
Mm-hmm.
She had like 40 people here to watch her today, so it was
Okay.
pretty good. Yeah, she's
So I
excited
hear
about
you
that.
got a senior and I got a senior. See, you don't seem as emotional as I am. Me, I'm over here about to have a fit. She done
Well, I
sent
know
me
she
an
ain't
email.
going nowhere, so she gonna be right around here, so she ain't going far.
Well, that's what Maya told me. She said she said, Mom, I think I'm gonna go to community college because I really don't know exactly what I want to do, but I don't want to waste money trying to figure it out either. I'm like, my damn baby, she's smart. She's smart. So I'm happy about that. And for yours as well. Look, I appreciate you joining. I know you got to go and be with your family.
Yes, thank
Listen,
you so very, very much.
please,
You gotta come back. Come back.
please, you
Come
gotta
back.
come back. You gotta come
Please,
back. I
please.
want more information about the gala. And let me ask you one more question before you go. Now, is this gala just for athletes and entertainment? This for people? Because I got to save my coins if I want. Okay.
Well, no, it's not. It's not only for the athletes, but I just want the athletes to come out and actually speak like I'm speaking now, so people get a
Right.
clear understanding. Because people, like you just talked about, think because you're making all this money and you had this great career and you could travel here and you could travel there.
Mm-hmm.
So I, want to reach out to the athletes that comes in, because it's quite a few people that's coming to the thing that actually was contemplating suicide at one time.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so, so, so it's a lot of big things that I really want to be heard at this gala, and I'm reaching
Mhm.
out to people that actually, been through a whole lot and different things though
Mm-hmm.
that they can actually talk about. So it's just to let people know what athletes go through, because everybody got this question about like, well, if I had all of this money, I wouldn't be doing that. So I just
No,
be able
you
to
would
present
be.
it at a different light with the athletes. So it's just the athletes coming in, opening up, and being transparent about things they're going through. But it
That's
would
so
definitely be
good.
more than just the athletes. Yeah.
Okay, well that is good, and I look forward to hearing more about your book and more about the self help project you want to do. It's I say, look, we seem to be parallel in the things that we want to do. So please, if you just keep in contact, I'm gonna hit. Jennifer made a group for us, so I'll keep contact with you there, just so you could get a feel that I ain't a crazy person, like on that kind of crazy person. That I'm all about the business, but my passion is mental and emotional health, all things mental and emotional health. And honey, at one point I want to be able to do galas and do the things that you're doing. So just make sure you just stay in contact. We hope you will come back. We're
Okay.
here every Monday. If
All
there's
right.
some athletes you want to bring, if you want to come to the platform and speak, please by all means, let us know. We'll be more than happy to have you. We
Okay.
appreciate you being here.
Yeah, I
Tell
appreciate
your
y'all
baby.
having me. I appreciate y'all. Y'all just gave me some therapy.
Some comedy and some therapy, boy. I tell you. But make sure you come on back and tell us a little bit more about what you're doing at a later date. Tell your baby girl
Okay.
congratulations.
All right.
Absolutely.
And no matter
Absolutely.
what, keep it moving,
It's
honey.
All right. I
moving.
thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Take it easy now.
All right. You too.
All right, everybody. See, told you. Now that was good to my spirit right there. What you think about that, Shane? Was that good in your spirit or what?
Oh my God. Like, I think it would be great to have a male perspective on a lot of different things. But
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of like I said, at the retreat this week that I went to, we talked about all of these things, and we actually, like, we didn't have any men there, but we talked on the subject of how it takes so much as a human being just to be vulnerable and to really
Mm-hmm.
put yourself out there, and to really tap into what in the world is emotionally is bothering you, instead
Mm-hmm.
of just putting it into, like, yes, for him, basketball was a coping thing, but then it was like, when you don't have that, like, what are you going to do? And
Right.
I just like the fact that he was very transparent about it, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm containing my excitement, but I mean,
That was good. It was good to, it's
I
almost
don't
like
have a lot of
surreal.
words. I don't have a lot of words right now. I just it's just nice. It's nice to have the male perspective, and it's nice to
It
hear from
really
an athlete
that
say,
was
"Hey,
that
we
was
are
the
human.
ultimate goal.
Like, we are human. We are
Right.
human. We're still athletes, but we're human. We're still people,
Mm-hmm.
and we
Yep.
have feelings and we have emotions, and they can grieve, and money is not the answer to everything, because you
It's
already
not.
said he had all this money, and all he kept doing was other things.
Well, look at I just remember Robin Williams. He was a funny dude.
Funny man.
But
Funny man.
underneath, comedy was his relief. But under all of that comedic humor that he gave, all that entertaining that he did for us, underneath all of that, he was suffering. And unfortunately, he took his life. So, and
And
he,
I want so bad for our men, black, white, purple,
yep,
Asian, whatever. I want
men,
so bad
boys,
for our
yes,
men to heal, to get whatever is bothered, be that vulnerable person, and not feel like looking at feel like, anybody of the opposite sex or the same sex is looking at them as weak.
yeah, for sharing
Like,
your
that's not it.
emotions. Because I'm
Like,
going to tell
that's
you
not
right
it.
now, for me, that's a sexy thing for me.
It
For a
sure
man to
is.
tell me how he feels.
It
And
sure is.
he not to be manipulative about it, but he genuinely feels some kind of way. He's genuinely showing his emotions. He's genuinely sharing, and he's trusting me with that. And I know that's the key word, trust. But when a man can trust me with his emotions and he can trust me with how he's feeling mentally and emotionally, man, I'm just like, yeah, you can,
You're
yeah,
like, woo!
you can go there, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, no, really, I'm just saying it's a
Are
sexy
you still
part
feeling
for me.
emotional? Are you still emotional? I can help you.
Yeah, I can help you.
We
No,
can
but
go for
seriously,
a ride. I can help you with that.
yeah. But seriously, it was nice to hear, seriously hear from a male perspective, particularly a black male. The icing on the cake is that he's had this experience of playing in the NBA. He's experienced so many things in his life. That's just the icing on the cake. But to hear him come on and just share and be transparent as he was with us, definitely appreciate that. I do hope he will actually want to come back. I'm going to try to find out more about his book and more about this gala that he's going to be doing on mental health with the athletes in December. I'm going to try my best to get some more of the information because, I might have to save a little coins, okay? Just in case the common folk can go. Just in case the common folk can go. But listen, so for anyone who wants to um, who wants to have some emotional support services, please reach out to me at startspeakingstopstigma@gmail.com. You can also reach me at 919-9640-0546 for clinical mental health therapy. If you are looking for a therapist, please reach out to Shayna. Shayna, please give them your number and email address information.
So on Facebook, I am Doc Shayna Monique. You can message me there, or you're welcome to call 919-641-0669, and we can work on some options for you.
All right,
Which
y'all.
one of my options will soon be open, because I'm on 3 of the panels so far.
Okay, cool. All right. That's new information. Okay. All right. So y'all, thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate you. Until next Monday's serving of mental tea. Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Hey.